Hello everybody, and welcome to the first Project Arrhythmia advanced tutorial. I guess I can compare these to Z Lucky's tutorials. If you haven't watched those and you're new to the editor, go watch those first. These are for more advanced things if you've done a bit in the editor but want to know more. For the first set of tutorials, I'm gonna talk about boss animation and boss movement. So for the first one, I'm going to talk about squash and stretch. And I mean, the name implies what it is. You squash and stretch your character. It makes animation and movement look smoother. So if you've wanted to make your, I'll do a simple movement here. You want to make them go from point A to point B, right? But you want it to look smooth. Adding some squash and stretch to animations can make it look smoother. So, I'll just do one really quick right here. So there we go. This is basically the simplest of the simple. From point A to point B, squishes a little bit. And as you can see, it looks a little bit smoother. Now, this might be a bit too exaggerated, so you can keep adjusting the numbers to find the right amount of squish and stretch. Like that. So now that's the basics down. I'll do some more complicated stuff, like let's say you want your character to go up a little bit and slam into the ground. Now there's two ways to do this. There's a simple way and a more complicated way. I'll go over both, but the simplest way is this. Now, I want them to go from here down to here and come back up a little bit. So, easy way is using this in-back easing. Let me reset this. And I will move them down to 0, or the bottom of the screen. Now I want to do squish for this, and usually you want to have the same easings. With different movements, you might need different easings, it just depends, but first I'll start with the first step, making them squish a bit up and then go all the way down. So sometimes, if it's a faster movement, you want more exaggerated squish and stretch. So here, I'll make it more exaggerated because it's faster. Or sometimes, if you want your character to be really squishy, you can also exaggerate it a lot. Don't make it too squishy because sometimes you can overdo it and it makes the movement look really weird. Okay, that's wrong. Sometimes you'll get mixed up with the X and the Y, but there. I even do it sometimes still, but it squishes up and then goes down like that. Now, there's something that's more precise. So you gotta scroll in a little bit. You want to make it so right when they hit the ground, sometimes I do an in sign for this, you make them squish outwards like that. So when they hit the ground, they squish out. And then now you can sort of choose if you want them to squish and go upwards and then turn into normal, or just become normal there. So I'll just show you what I mean. I'll make it so they go up a little bit and squish a little. So I'll do some outside easings, make some movement, and you can study this exact movement if you want, or just mess with it on your own. So now, we've got a little squish movement, and that's not right. There we go. Now it looks like a little impact on the ground. So now it won't be super rigid. And you can also experiment with different easings. Like, let's say I want this to be circ instead of sine. Okay, do that. So then it'd be more, well, you'll see. It looks a bit different, if you could tell from before. And you might want to change this too. So you can experiment with moving around keyframes. The second way I was gonna go over, it's just pretty simple. It's not much different, but instead of having the in-back easing, you just place some other keyframes so it goes up a little bit on its own and then goes down instead of one full easing. Now, that can actually be better if you want more specific movement, like a movement type. So you can make it more smooth and adjust it to your liking. So, I guess mess with these tips and make your boss squish and stretch. I hope this was helpful. Thanks.